Good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now. December 27, 2025. Breaking news right now for Venezuela. Tonight, a new NOTAM, a navigation alert, and a maritime and aerial navigation alert over the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of America and Mexico. Family, your likes, your comments. This is Military Strategies breaking news. Right now, Venezuela is heating up. Let's begin. Oh! Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies. Sorry for the delay.
But I was checking something that we had to share, that we had to say live here on Military Strategies. December 27, 2025. Starting at 11 p.m. Miami Beach time. We have a notice to airmen until 6 a.m. in the Tampa corridor.
Wow.
I even forgot to put this on. Breaking news tonight, starting at 11 p.m. Miami local time. There is a notice to airmen until 6 a.m.
No.
What is going to move? What is going to happen? What will take place? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but the notice to airmen is there. But also, there is another notice to airmen. Attention, there's another notice to airmen with this. Issued at the naval level. For northern Venezuelan islands. And also, breaking news again. Nicolas Maduro, just a few hours ago, sent a fleet of ships northbound. Christmas has passed, but the new year. Will Maduro make it to the new year? I don't know. Family, welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now. Thank you so much for being with us. Yesterday, we already leaked important air movements in the area. Today, a notice to airmen. And it's not just any notice to airmen. It's in the air corridor where there are 28 tanker planes waiting for something or someone to arrive. And each tanker plane can supply a group of 6 aircraft in rotations at the same time. Over 200 aircraft. Only in the Tampa area, Dominican Republic, another 10 tankers. At least, starting to do the math, I've already done them.
Please.
Family, thank you for your likes and comments. I saw them today
Um,
on Twitter. I've been seeing a lot of information. I've been seeing a lot of stories. Now we're going to show some of them. I want to say something. Is there someone who has told me strategies? You know, they're not going to attack Venezuela. Drop the subject already. Don't talk about Venezuela anymore because you're going to ruin your reputation. I'm not here for any reputation. I'm here for what I believe in, for what I think, for my values, and for the facts. And right now, there's no place in the world where I have such a large military presence as there is right now in the Caribbean Sea. And if that's the case, it's because something is happening. Something is going to happen, or something could happen. I insist on this. I don't know when it's going to happen. I just analyze data, look for information, and uncover things. Let's go quickly. to the map. Let's go quickly to fly radar, and let's go quickly to the marine radar. Because things are happening over there. Right now, family.
Yeah.
When it's 9:32 in Spain, and there are still a few hours left until 11 in Miami, let's check the local time in Miami.
Me.
3:32.
Oh,
Starting at 11 at night. This corridor we see here puts Tampa from the north all the way down to the Keys and the entire southern area of Florida.
no.
Navigation warning. Let's look at the notice to airmen photo. A notice to airmen that can bring hope to a people.
No.
This was the bishop's issue yesterday, excuse me. Today we're dealing with another topic. Here is the notum. Notice for domestic flights. Day 28.
Sure.
From 11 at night. Things are going to happen in Tampa. Things are going to occur
Yes.
that we don't know in this area. You see, those are the vectors. Places where something will happen. What could it be? What might happen? Well, leave your comments in the chat, of course, but I'm going to take out my deck of cards here, the options. What could happen? Let's open. Let's view the picture from the outside before examining the details. A few days ago, secretly and covertly, B-1 planes returned over Venezuela.
No.
A few days ago, there was another show of force that hasn't been broadcast, that hasn't been told. Now, we found out for sure. Let's get to it. Let's not make it such a mystery. Let's be realistic. If those planes from Tampa are going out to refuel, to an Air Force heading south toward the Caribbean, we could be talking about B-52 planes, B-1 planes, B-2 planes. Also, if Donald Trump decides to unleash the birds of death,
Yeah.
or even the F-15S. That's right. They could all come from the troop buildup that's been happening in Oklahoma, in Texas, all over the northern area, in Kansas, in North Dakota. All coming down at the same time to be refueled by more than 28 tanker aircraft. It would be a surprise attack that the regime would never expect, nor could they even imagine it. Would they find themselves with their hands tied at that moment? And at this very moment, a stratotanker over Miami, doing these spirals, waiting for something. Also, during the last few weeks, a lot of planes have been arriving. A whole bunch have been coming in of aircraft to the entire area, significant logistics and weaponry. I've always said it, these aren't just exercises. The United States doesn't spend that kind of money just for exercises. Now, when the United States launches an operation, a combat operation, they know very well what they have to do. They know the enemy, they study them, and they gather the necessary capability. to dominate them from the air. That's what it's all about right now. The situation at this moment. More than 8 million Venezuelans abroad and several million more in Venezuela. Waiting for Donald Trump's decision, the decision of the Secretary of War to end a stage. Today, Nicolas Maduro, in one of his many videos, once again disrespected history.
Yeah.
Once again insulted the Spanish Empire.
No.
Once again mocked Pizarro's banner. Nicola, this could be the last thing you ever do. That's right. Well, that's how it is, family. And also, Nicolas Maduro has sent, and this is another thing, we need to pay attention to this. With Nicolas Maduro, because we have another story.
Yeah.
Mapa Marino has sent the ship Los Llanos. Look at this. Heading north. Has he positioned them or just his fleet? Above Gran Roque, above La Orchila? But far from Isla de las Aves. Is Nicolas Maduro going to try to put up a fight at sea? Does he want to escort the oil tankers? We don't know. Pay attention to this report, which isn't from the air. Pay attention to the following image. We're moving from the photograph we've seen of that notice to airmen for the area. From Tampa down to South Florida to this other one. Navigation hazard warnings in that area. North of Curacao. North of La Orchila. And where's the ship Los Llanos right now? North of La Orchila? There you see it. What you see there flashing on the screen is the last pin. From 10 hours ago. They've been wandering around there? What is the Los Llanos ship? You may be wondering what it is. I still don't even know how it can float. It's something I just can't explain. Lately, it was seen doing exercises on Margarita Island, and they were seen doing exercises on La Orchila. It's a ship that can transport infantry. It can transport vehicles. It's a kind of landing ship. Limited, obviously, by its capabilities. It's a very old ship. It doesn't have the ability to strike with cruise missiles. It doesn't have it. This isn't the one we're looking at. It's similar to what we just saw. Excuse me for a second. We'll stop. The image looks like this. One of these ships opens up in the middle of the sea near the shore. It can't go to the shore because it would get stuck. It unloads amphibious vehicles, allowing them to approach the beach. This seems to be the answer that Nicolas Maduro wants to give to the United States of America. Ship Los Llanos. P-64
4.
is a support ship. It barely has more than a cannon. It doesn't have anything else. It doesn't have cruise missiles. It's rusty, and they might even have to end up rescuing it. But be careful, because along with this ship, the Llanos ship, you shouldn't underestimate it. They may have sent the Iranian patrol boats, and those do have missiles. And yesterday, a plane from Iran landed in Venezuela. Has Iran given them anti-ship missiles for defense? According to what the Ayatollah has said, the United States is seeking to expand in the region, trying to control more territories. Subscribe. Is Iran going to try to strike back at the United States by helping Venezuela? It could, but what is another target that the United States could go after that we've never talked about? Let's go to the map. It's closer to Puerto Rico than to Venezuela. There's a place, Aves Island. This place here with a small Venezuelan spy station. Officially, the place is for scientific research. Unofficially, a place to detect the movement of ships and aircraft from the United States of America. Isolated from the world, a small beach. If what they say about climate change is true, when the sea level rises, this place will come from the depths of the Caribbean Sea. Look, there's nothing, just this. Is the ship Los Llanos heading to that place? Are they going to try to deploy any electronic warfare system? Or try to leave a military garrison so that the United States doesn't attack without a fight? That island could be one of the options. Anyway, it's already too late. Nicholas, don't you have time anymore to set up the defense against the buildup of troops from the United States of America?
Go.
Nicolas Maduro appeared again today, and now we're going to see him live. This is incredible. La Urdula is key in this story. I insist on this. This image and navigation hazard warning in La Ortula, it just reaffirms over and over again what we've been thinking.
No.
Will there be an amphibious operation in any of these places? Maduro is afraid of an invasion. That's why he has sent that entire fleet today, to try to prevent the United States from doing it. People talk and say nothing is going to happen. It's been too long. Too much time without anything happening. Patience, patience.
Yeah.
There are things that are happening.
No.
There are things that are happening tonight. We will have to be very attentive to what happens in Venezuela, to what might happen over there, how close it is and how much we all want it, how much we all want it to happen. This was expected. The NOTAM issue could also be significant. The other day, Donald Trump said they were ready to launch the ground operation. I also want to be clear about this.
Cool.
I understand that in the first phase of this operation, cartel targets will be attacked. No one should expect bombings on Fuerte Tiuna. At least I don't believe it will happen directly. I think they will target places where the substances are produced, packaged, and transported. Maybe the United States wants to see Nicolas Maduro's reaction, wants to see what happens, what his response is, because Nicolas Maduro can also respond. It's not a joke. If that fleet heads toward Isla de las Aves, if they carry drones with them, they can use it as a launch zone. You should never underestimate the enemy. Let's go to your comments, family, before we see Nicolas Maduro live. This is super important. The facts are there, and the things that are happening are there. We have to think and be positive. When it has to happen, it will happen, and we'll find out when we hear there are explosions in such and such a place. Or Donald Trump writes a tweet and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the operation to liberate Venezuela has begun." Nico sends a super chat and tells us here. Thanks a lot, Nico. My friend tells us about that super chat. Long live freedom, long live freedom. That's right, long live freedom coming soon. Maduro has been in mode paranoid, although he is very calm. Last night he said he wanted to negotiate again. He wanted to renegotiate. Thanks for the super chat, Andrea. Thank you for your support of the channel. Thank you so much. This really does seem like a Netflix movie now. Anna, thank you so much for those 20 memberships. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really, thank you so much, Anna, for being with us. Isla de Aves holds strategic importance. But La Orquilla is much more important. La Orquilla is a much more important place. It also matches comments that Russia is going to support Venezuela. That support could speed up the reaction of the United States of America and hurry before any direct confrontation happens where fights with Russian and United States mercenaries could be put on the table. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. What's the way? By launching the attack now? By closing the door now, ending any chance. That's right, that's it. Good. Now let's see Nicolas Maduro. Out of his mind. We've already seen that he has sent the fleet north. He's willing to fight, that he's not going to leave. Why doesn't he want to leave? But now we have to see this. Nicolas Maduro, once again, the story's missing. The respect for so many people. So many people. We're going to see it here in a second, family. We're getting the video ready so we can listen to it. It's terrible. Diosdado and everyone are out of their minds.
End of December.
Here are two flags, two banners.
They put up Kirchner's photo of Kirchner, like a wafer. This communist guy who's no longer around, who then left us with his wife, who's in jail, I think, or should be in jail, or has been tried and convicted for corruption. They've put up a portrait of the person in the living room, and now you'll see what he says.
This one you see here, our national flag, but this one you see here is the original standard of Colombia, the one founded by Neodinocolos Colombia, the original Colombia, the great one, right? This is the flag that Bolivar gave to the victorious fighters of the United Liberating Army. Today,
Maduro brings out flags.
the victors at Ayacucho, liberators of Peru. On a day like today, here it is, Bolivar delivered it, Bolivar, Bolivar. This victorious banner, defeated. Throughout South America, this banner right here.
If it defeated that banner, why does it speak Spanish? Why doesn't it speak a language used before the Spanish arrived? It's an offense. Spain should demand the immediate return of that banner. Disrespecting that banner is unacceptable.
If you allow me, I'll stand over here.
It's disrespectful to use that banner to defend your dictatorship.
The banner of Francisco Pizarro that you see here, this is the original one that Pizarro took all the way to Cusco and planted it on top of the Temple of the Sun, a sacred temple that had been there for 2,000 or 3,000 years.
And what did they do in those temples? Maduro, what did they do there?
looking at what the culture was, integrated into the Inca state. The Aymara, Quechua, Guarani, and others. This banner lasted for more than 290 years, almost 300 years after the betrayal of Atahualpa, the last Inca ruler. They have said it was an empire, the Inca Empire, but I think those are concepts that are completely denied by reality. It was the Inca state, the Incanate.
Yes, the Incas sacrificed human beings, but not on a massive scale. Although I think the Aztecs, or, well, I might be wrong, I apologize, I don't want to make a mistake. But there were some who took out hearts. The Incas were not like that.
But with theology, the theory of the West, the truth of Eurocentrism, of Eurocentric historiography, so they interpreted that it was an empire, but it was actually a state of free peoples and men that stretched from the south of Colombia to the north of Chile, including everything today is northern Argentina, all of Bolivia, Peru, and Ecuador. It was the largest and most powerful state that ever existed in any civilization in our native America. And the empire arrived with Francisco Pizarro to deceive, divide, and through the betrayal of a brother who was in dispute with Atahualpa, led to the murder of Atahualpa, and then to what followed. 3 centuries of domination until Bolivar arrived.
Maybe I studied something different in school. It's obvious that an invasion is never to everyone's liking because it's not. But enough of blaming the Spaniards already for the suffering of many people worldwide. Spain, when it arrived there, gave them citizenship to everyone. Everyone was Spanish. Is he saying now or about to that they enslaved everyone? Ask the English, not the Spanish, right? Yes, it's true, things should have been done better. Of course, that's true, there's no need to excuse anyone there, surely. But enough of using history to defend oneself. That's shameless.
Until Sucre arrived, and the United Liberating Army, and they freed the people from the Temple of the Sun. And this banner has been here since that time as a wonderful symbol of the victory of our United Liberating Army, of our people, against an empire that plundered and enslaved our America for 3 centuries. It's shameless.
How can he say that we enslaved? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Spain brought the Christian religion there. The word of Jesus, the word of God, became known through the Spaniards. That which he now so much talks about and says and beats his chest about. It's just unbelievable. I'm amazed that he's the one stealing Venezuela's natural resources, and yet he talks about looting. He's a real scoundrel who doesn't know history. Look. Look, that's how things are. Spain made indigenous South Americans Spanish subjects. During the Spanish Empire, the indigenous people were not legally considered foreigners. They were vassal subjects of the Spanish crown, just like those born in Spain. Let's see if the English did that. Let's see if the French or the Portuguese did that. They had souls and rights according to Spanish laws, something that was debated and officially defined. The laws of Burgos of 1512 and the new laws of 1542 recognized the indigenous people as free persons, prohibited their enslavement, although there were abuses. That's why I say everything can improve. It was affirmed in 1550 and 1551 that the indigenous people were human beings with rights, not natural slaves. They had legal protection. They paid taxes like other vassals, just as was done in Spain. What is this idiot talking about? What is he talking about? What is he talking about slavery?
A word to the wise, it's a standard in Caracas, so that flag that's here.
The Spanish government should immediately demand the return of that standard, so that it stops being humiliated in that way. The story of insulting history by a Cuban jester.
Here it is, right here. It should be here. Because this flag defeated 300 years of colonialism and slavery.
It's important to have...
The historical references.
Yes, it's important to have the historical references. What this guy does is overwhelming. But anyway, let's jump from there. Let's go to minute 49 because this is where he's really going to explode. I'll tell you something, I'm Spanish. I love Latin America. I love my brothers over there. We share the language, we share culture, we share ancestors. What the hell for? We have to start over with a topic that's already worn out, that only serves to divide so that guys like this can stay in power. I'm not sure. It's hard to understand, and sometimes I want to. We must end the black legend of this whole story. Let's go to the super chats before moving on to the next point because this is an important topic. Let's see, it's a topic that definitely creates a lot of ambiguity and a lot of pain for many people. I understand it. Gentlemen, 2026 is approaching. That Pizarro isn't here, that Believer isn't here. The world has changed. That now, from Spain, we're talking to people who are on the other side of the world. What used to take months to arrive, now we take hours to reach. That story doesn't work anymore. That imperialist fear doesn't work anymore. Spain lacks a navy to invade other countries. Sometimes it can't even defend its own coasts. What is he talking about? Let them discuss when Russia invaded Crimea. Let him talk about that instead. Or about what he's doing in Ukraine. The last 48 hours, massive bombings over Kiev. They say around here, Juan Luis sends us a super chat. Thank you so much, Juan Luis, for this message. Maite, thank you so much, Anna. It was an empire. The Inca, confirmed by anthropologists decades ago. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the difference between a viceroyalty and a colony. And he's listed as a graduate of the University of Grenoble. Teeny Moreno, not Guardia Speed. This guy needs to be given a history book. Juan Luis, I understand that the Russians have given S-500 batteries. No, that's not true. That's a lie. The Russians haven't given any S-500 batteries, nor S-400, nor S-1000. To Nicolás Maduro. We must end the black legend England used to defeat the Spanish Empire. They've been lying to us for 300 years. Come on, Spaniards. There's nothing to reproach. The English were the ones who enslaved people. They carried ships full of slaves. People should read the books. It's all there. Not reading is bad. The problem is having books and not using them. That's the problem. There are a lot of people here on YouTube who, when they appear on camera, have an entire library of books behind them. Just to collect dust, nothing more. There's an interesting detail. If Nicolas Maduro dislikes and is bothered by it, the Spanish Empire's history. Why hasn't he changed the name? To Barcelona, to Valencia? Why hasn't it been changed? Come on, we could look at the map and pick out a few places that have Spanish names. Why haven't you changed it, Nicholas? He's ignorant. He's ignorant. A real ignoramus. It's incredible. We should invite Marcelo Gullo. With Maduro's nonsense, it will be a feast. I agree, he'd be a good addition. And so on. A lot of nonsense has been said in the last few hours, specifically about whether Russia has sent or hasn't sent. They don't have anything to send. They don't have the capacity to send. I'll say it myself. Why not? Well, because he's a friend of Zapatero. There's no one for president of the Spanish colonial empire. Why don't we know? Family? We're almost at 375,000 followers, just 100 away. Please, let's make it happen tonight because anything can happen. Starting at 11 p.m. Miami time, Mérida, Valencia, Puerto de la Cruz time. Why don't you change the name of those places? Because we carry DNA. Why?
Indígena, español.
Do we carry the DNA of everyone? What are we talking about here? What is that? What is this uneducated person saying? By the way, if you want to know your origins, we have a discount for you on MyHeritage. Later, we'll give you the link for anyone who wants to know their origins. Where does it come from? I did it. I was surprised. I won't say any more. We are in a world that is a mosaic of cultures. Why is this coming up?
He called me because some congressmen and senators from the United States had called me.
Pay attention to this, and this really worries me. There's a lot of talk. Look, here's the MyHeritage test. You have it at that link. If you go in, they're posting it right now in the chat. It gets delivered to your home. You take a small saliva sample, send it in a little envelope, download an app that's fantastic, and you'll see where you come from genetically. You'll find relatives around the world, and the story will surprise you. In my case, I'll tell you, I have some family in the Philippines, family in Israel, family in Europe, United States family, and Latin American family. And now, where am I from? From every corner of the earth, and that's how we are. That's who we are. But there she is, this idiot, as always, talking about things she doesn't know. This really worries me. The infiltration that Nicolas Maduro has inside of American politics. The congressman he has on his payroll. And who is giving him information?
I was a founder of the Boston Group. And you know, Delcy, do you know who sent me to found the Boston Group? And he told me, he called me because some congressmen and senators from the United States had called me, and they called me. I spoke to them kindly. But I had my work agenda here in 2003, since we had our agenda, the Fifth Republic movement, right? I was a very active congressman. I was the head of the parliamentary group of the National Assembly from 2000 to 2005. The Assembly. Then Chavez called me. I was in the office.
That picture of Kirchner gives me a really bad vibe. It really gives me a bad vibe. He seems to be watching us, watching everyone, with one eye right and the other left.
At Francisco Emilia's office. This is juicy gossip I've never shared publicly before. I was in Francisco Emilia's office. We were having a meeting, and Commander Chavez called me on my cell phone. Do you remember there was the Motorola phone that you would flip open? It was silver-colored. When I saw Hugo Chavez, oh my God, hello, President Nicolas, how are you? Good, good, good. Listen to me, Nicolas, he told me. Look, there he is.
He's already rambling already. Why would Chavez speak to him in English?
Is Congressman so-and-so calling you, Senator so-and-so, and inviting you for such and such date? Thanks to Boston, there's a binational meeting between the United States Congress and the National Assembly. Why haven't you answered him? I'm sharing a secret with you for the first time. I told him no because we're very busy here. Call them right away, get everyone on the same page. You choose a committee and go to Boston because they want to establish the Boston Group of Venezuela. United States Congressman. No sooner said than done. A week later, by the way,
Indigenous support for Simón Bolívar was limited and very uneven, depending on the place and circumstances. Many did not support him, others did, and others were forced to support Simón Bolívar. Many indigenous peoples during the Spanish Empire were guaranteed communal lands and legal protections, such as Indian republics. They feared that the Creole independence supporters would take their lands, raise taxes, and exploit them even more. In many regions, the indigenous people fought on the Spanish side. In Venezuela, many indigenous people and peasants supported José Tomás Boves, Bolívar's enemy, because they hated the Creole elites. Bolívar lacked strong indigenous support initially. This is getting more and more interesting. Bolívar really defended the indigenous people. Bolívar ended the indigenous tribute in some areas and declared legal equality, but did not actually return the lands. He did not improve the situation of the indigenous people, and the new states continued to discriminate against them. Many indigenous people ended up worse off after independence than under the Spanish crown. Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies.
I was at Andrews Air Force Base in Washington.
Just so you know, Nicholas, Andrews Air Force Base is one of the few bases where the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force all operate inside the base. Are things going to take off?
We're traveling through New York.
Not via New York, New York.
One of my favorite cities.
One of his favorite cities? That's where he has big clients.
New York, New York, from New York. I rented a car and I like driving on the 195 Turnpike straight from New York to Washington. I think it's 2 hours, 3 hours.
Maduro discusses his global experiences. The day the donkey left the stable.
We later took an official United States government plane from Andrews Air Force Base while George Bush was in power. To go to Boston, we went to Massachusetts, and in Boston, in Nantucket, we founded the Boston Group. I think there were 10 opposition deputies from the opposition bench here in the National Assembly and 10 deputies from the Homeland Bloc.
From 1813 to 1824, Bolívar led a very brutal war. The armies executed, looted, and retaliated against populations considered enemies. Among the victims were indigenous people, Pardos, Llaneros, and whites, depending on the region. The most well-known case is the Decree of War to the Death in 1813, which ordered the killing of Spanish peninsulares who did not support independence. It protected the Americans. In theory, but in practice, the violence escalated and impacted entire populations, including indigenous communities. Of course, when you start killing, the blood clouds your mind and you no longer know who you're killing. Bolivar, huh?
Since then, the Boston Group met several times in the United States. And here, since that time, we have always sought direct, respectful dialogue. Since that time, I remember we have always defended our history with Francisco de Miranda, who lived there and was a friend of Washington and all the founding fathers of the United States. Since that time, we have always defended Bolivarianism and how, based on Miranda and Bolivar, we could build a positive relationship. So I mention this as a reference because the article I read said that first they wanted to carry out a coup d'etat and imposed it. Here in this palace, Pedro Carmona Estanga, who has resurfaced on social media, talking a bunch of nonsense.
An old coward.
Traitor to the country. Now,
Uy.
Nicholas talks nonsense.
Who did he say it to?
Let's see, it's come up again, that first.
Let's see, to whom?
They tried to carry out a coup d'etat and installed Pedro Carmona Estanga here in this palace, who has resurfaced on social media talking a bunch of nonsense. An old coward.
An old coward. Pedro Carmona Estanga, a Venezuelan businessman known for having been the de facto president of Venezuela for a few hours. On April 12, 2002, in the midst of the coup d'etat against Hugo Chavez. I love these things. Oh.
Traitor to the country.
Traitor to the country? For 12 hours, how long was he in power? Less than 48 hours.
The murderer now comes to talk nonsense. I won't say more. You'll see it on social media because it's going around out there. Then they all bet on Enrique Capriles Radosky. Come on.
Let's go after Capriles. It's not me saying it.
I respect Congressman Capriles.
Oh man, he gets along with Capriles. Suspicious.
He was my opponent in one. First, Capriles was my boss when he was president of Congress in '98, and later we were opponents when Chavez left me with this responsibility. And a guy who had never run an election campaign, not even for the head of the condo where he lived. In 10 days, he beat Capriles, who had been preparing for 15 years. They all bet on Capriles for several years, then they all bet on Leopoldo Lopez.
He's recalling the memories, huh?
And they used to say that Leopoldo Lopez was the Venezuelan Nelson Mandela. Then they all bet on Julio Borges and everyone left the country, except for Capriles, who is still here and is a congressman. They all ended up outside. They bet for a short time on Ramon Alup, who said he would solve this in 3 months. Then they made things up at the White House. John Bolton,
oh my God, John Bolton. The other day I was watching a documentary about John Bolton where he was talking specifically about the issue of Venezuela, and he said, well, we're going to explain what we did. We were about to take down Maduro and also John Bolton. As Maduro calls him, John Bolton says Maduro. He was chosen by Chavez because intellectually he is so empty, not to say dumb, that Chavez didn't see him as a rival or as a possible candidate to stage a coup. It must be sad.
Yeah.
The bump you're going to get.
Nicolás Maduro Red Tilensor. This general, who was head of the Southern Command and was John Kelly's chief of staff, John Bolton Red.
John Bolton.
SOM.
Red Tilesum.
John Kelly and then Mike Pompeo.
Mike Pompeo.
They tried. They gave Juan Guaido, billions of dollars. And now the new version of Guaido.
Attention. Sayona, get ready. You're up next.
Known in Venezuela as the Sayona. A woman with extremist thinking, yes.
Yes, come on, very extremist. Maria Corina says, please release the political prisoners, let there be elections, let there be democracy. That's extremism. Can't you see Mike Pompeo?
Deranged, hysterical woman named Maria Machado.
Not Maria Corina, sorry, huh? Elected by the people, not like you.
They always bet on extremism. And while they were betting on extremism, we were betting on building forces against the dictatorship.
You all for the dictatorship. To attack the protesters in the streets, run them over with tanks, or throw political prisoners into underground dungeons. Strategy? Thank you for raising your voice in support of Venezuela. Maduro is not Venezuelan. He won't do anything that benefits Venezuelans. Isn't it obvious?
This kind of Venezuelan has little real strength to defend our homeland and to keep our homeland beautiful, lovely, peaceful, and bright like it is today in Venezuela. So it's important that the American media
To see Maduro telling them what the media should say.
don't let yourselves be influenced by so many lobbies.
Lobbies, huh? Democracy lobbies.
The bondholders lobby, the oil lobby, the Miami lobby, the lobby of the corrupt Venezuelans who fled to Miami, and 2 Miami lobbies. See, and so many lobbies that pay for articles. And open your ears, open your eyes so you can see a deeper Venezuela.
Yes, like we've seen on military strategies. Did you see the prison show recently? No. It's incredible, the thing about Nicolas Maduro's prisons. When the dictatorship falls, people will go into those prisons. Do you know what's going to happen? This is going to be like when they entered the concentration camps. People around the world lamented, asking, how did we let this happen? This will never happen again. We're creating the United Nations to prevent it from happening again. The United Nations is now holding an emergency meeting. The Security Council, because Israel has recognized Somaliland. Instead of holding a Security Council meeting because there are people dying in the Venezuelan prisons, they're going to hold an emergency meeting because Israel recognizes the sovereignty of Somaliland. Let's just leave United Nations. Another one.
What do you want? Peace that will always win its right to peace into the future? And that is right, as has been demonstrated in the United Nations Security Council, the historical reason, the legal reason, the juridical reason. And it has the greatest power that a nation can have today.
Pay attention to what he is about to say.
It has the blessings of our Lord Jesus Christ, and it has the blessings and the power of our Almighty God. So it's important.
The one who led the Spaniards there. Remember, Nicholas?
These Christmas days always encourage public debate.
It's tremendous. Who's there? Well, there's Betty, La Fea, Diosdado, Memeo, Vladimir Hundido. They're there in that room. The ones who need to be there for the right moment are there.
Let it be known. Let it be known. It's impossible for sectors of power in the United States to fabricate a virtual reality and impose on Bolivar's Venezuela a model of colonial and slave domination to steal its natural resources. That's impossible because here there is a...
Impossible.
Yeah.
That we've hit 375,000. Impossible. Family.
Yeah.
I won't freeze up. Maduro, listen. We've reached... Oh, Maduro, when you start to hear this sound, when Nicolas Maduro starts to hear this sound, just imagine. Well, just imagine Nicolas Maduro on the Miraflores balcony with Bolivar's sword pointing at the F-35s. Impossible, impossible. It's going to be impossible. This is going to be impossible. What are we really going to do with this creature? Community, let's see. There are about 20,000 of us here. I want suggestions. What can we do with this creature? Is it impossible? Nicolas Maduro has already reached an impossible point. $50 million. If I disappear in the next 48 hours, you already know what I'm doing. It's $50 million. It's impossible. What happens is that, well, now you're going to see it in another video that I have prepared for you very quickly. Don't worry. He has the bodyguards shaking, huh? You're going to see it now.
People settled in the territory, in the communities, in the universities, in the factories, in the barracks. And those people have shown enough ability to lead our homeland on the right path at a good pace, in a good way.
Yes, 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 at a good pace. People looking through garbage containers for food.
Tino. The failed models of Leopoldo Lopez, Julio Borges, Guaido, and Mrs. Machado. Never, never will they take this homeland. And Venezuela will continue on its path with its plan.
Yes, sunken communism.
With its leadership and with its good.
That's what they said in Honduras. And look at how it is. That's what they said in Argentina. Look at what has happened, Nicholas. Look how scared Nicholas is. Allow me to stop the Saturday speech now. You're going to be amazed by this. Because it's just that the paranoia just keeps getting worse, huh?
Good evening. We're establishing this connection.
It's like the movie Psycho. Excuse me, we were just watching the propagandist here. Pay attention to this. With decoration to the Cuba-Venezuela International Brigade. Hold on, things are about to get rough.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey!
I want you to pay attention to the bodyguards. Look at this one here below my camera, the one with the darker complexion.
How are you? All good.
He's scared, huh? He's scared, huh? They don't even trust their shadow. The head bodyguard is back there, also shaking hands with everyone because he's Cuban, and he's shaking hands with the Cubans. Look, look, huh? See how he's watching him.
Everything's fine in Carrasco.
Look, how are you? Are you afraid that someone will run you over?
And the Llanos were eliminated.
He carries the bulletproof protection briefcase.
How are things in Carrasco?
Look at the door, 1, 2, 3.
4, 5.
6, 7.
How are you?
Where are you from?
And you?
8, 9, Caracas.
Also 2 women from Caracas. How are you all doing?
Thank you, President.
Greetings, Judge.
2 bulletproof briefcases.
Some of them look like they just woke up.
Like they were partying.
Right? This one looks like he was partying.
Right. How's everything?
Is the head of Army Communications there too? It's amazing to see how small the room is. How many bodyguards does he need? Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more than 15 bodyguards.
A lot of work over there in Santiago. Yeah, how is everyone doing?
Everything's good.
Feels good thanks to your shout, right?
The group tells him.
All good. How is everyone? How are you all? I think
Honestly, this is just my opinion. I think he won't leave because the same people around him would take him down. I think they would take him down.
you're from Maturin, right? Are you a woman from there? Yes, from the army of Juana Ramirez, the advancer, yes.
How are you?
Well,
Wait, there's the photo of Castro. Hello?
How are you?
Hey, believer. Could they have painted him another way?
how are you all? How are you all?
Look at him. Look at the bodyguard. They're scared, right?
How are you all? Hello, for several weeks. To support the people of Santiago and Oriente.
They are very, very, very nervous. He really tries to give an image of calm, but look at the bags under his eyes. Nicolas Maduro is very tired, huh? Nicolas Maduro is very, very tired. I don't know which was better, Nestor's portrait or Bolivar's portrait, because honestly, it really looks like a haunted house. Miraflores. I see him pretty tired. I see a lot of security. I think they're not just fearing an air attack, but also an operation from the inside. I think he's more afraid of an attack from the inside, or at least the possibility of an attack from the inside. That's what he fears the most. Looking at the images and the amount of security he has around him, look here. Constant communication.
What?
It's total control. I don't see it as that certain, you know? Nicolas Maduro does seem at times lately to be more confident. Are there times when someone in the United States must warn Nicolas they're coming after him? And he doesn't see it so clearly anymore. He used to do these kinds of events in public with a lot more people. And now he does it in rooms, private rooms, with very few people. Obviously, everyone is checked from head to toe before entering. And I think, look at all the security there is. Look, see, this photo is great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just in this part, right? Just in this part, look at all the people back there. The ones on the sides, the ones looking everywhere. They're even looking at the light bulbs. Maduro. And also, he doesn't stay for very long, huh? He doesn't stay for very long, a 14-minute speech, and that's it. And they take him away just like that. The situation on a stress level for him is serious. It's intense. It's very intense. And we'll see what happens. Miami, 11 post-meridium to 6 ante-meridium tonight. I won't miss it. Family, thank you so much for being live with us here on Military Strategies. Please give us your likes, share the live stream, let's spread the word, let's give this a boost. Let's not let it fade. Let's not let hope and faith fade. Let's keep that spirit and make our dreams real. See you next time on Military Strategies. Greetings.